You guys, how's it going? So this week we're just, I guess, reviewing and learning about different ways we can research for our papers that are coming up. So I guess we'll just get started right off the bat. So some things that I found interesting and helpful that we learned this week. First, something that really stuck out to me and something that it kind of like jogged my memory from something that I had learned when I was younger, learning about this kind of stuff, was domain name extensions. And this is just kind of like a fancy way of saying, or a fancy phrase for those like letters that come at the end of a website URL. So like .com or .edu, .gov, and these different extensions can kind of help guide you and indicate whether or not the source that you're looking at is going to be reliable. Um, it's not a guarantee, but it can kind of give you some sort of indication. So, .com actually means commercial, if I remember correctly. So, those types of websites usually are there for advertising purposes or they have some sort of agenda. So they're not necessarily going to be your best bet in terms of looking for a resource. So .edu on education, .gov, that's government, .org is usually organization, I believe. So those are going to be your more trustworthy websites, ones that are probably going to be more factual, most likely less biased. So you probably have better luck choosing websites and resources with those extensions. Another thing that I thought was really important was the outline. Doing an outline for a paper or project or presentation is very important. It's something that I don't do often enough, but when I do, I feel as though it's very helpful. It gives you a structure that you can kind of build off of, so you can make this web of kind of how you want to do your presentation, and you can build off of that. It makes like a foundation, and it keeps things organized. And I don't know, I feel as though my work ends up being better when I can start with something like that and then kind of build off. Um, and then finally, they were talking about the methods section. I forget. I think I didn't really read a whole lot about the paper that we have to do. I've been focusing more on the presentation, but I think this was we have to do our methods section ourselves, I think is what they were talking about. I guess this would count as my money point, but they were saying that the methods section answers how. And this is different from the results section. So this is going to be how you go through that process to get your results. So yeah. Anyway, initially my money point wasn't that; it was literature review. Um, a lit review. I mean, it seems pretty obvious, but I've never had to do anything like that. I guess it's kind of like a critique. I don't know. But I never did anything like that before. And lastly, my personal opinion for something that would be useful to be successful in the future would be, like I said, outline, review whatever style you have to write your paper in, whether it's like APA, MLA. I just had to learn Chicago style recently. Just be very familiar with whatever style you need to write in. That's very helpful, so you don't have to go back and look every time you have to write a paper. Okay, well, how do I do this? You know what I mean? Just be very familiar with that. So, um, and research your sources before you use them. Make sure that they're credible. So, all right, that's all I have for this week. I'll see you guys next week.